Hello everybody, welcome back to Manifesting with Tarot with me, Mamita, here on astrolata.com on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me again, and thanks so much for all the support last week. I really appreciate it. So we are now in Leo season officially today, starting today, and hooray for that, out of like super emotional waters of Cancer, and the sun is now shining in the more optimistic constellation of Leo, who's a lot more upbeat and a lot more positive and way less emotional than Cancer season. So even though we still have Mercury kind of backtracking, at least we have the sun there. And then we also have some great stuff with Jupiter going on this week, allowing for some more optimism and expansion to shine through instead of all these hard oppositions. And so welcome again if you're just joining us, but super glad to be back with a lighter energy this week for sure. And if you guys have some crazy stories, I'd love to hear them in the chat section. I'm going to log on too so I can make sure that I see you guys. But I wanted to start by saying that it is Manifestation Monday, so what we can do every Monday is kind of realign our energies and our purpose. If you don't do already, always try to wake up with some type of like list of gratitude, but even especially for Mondays when it's like a really hard day to get back on track after the weekend, especially like hazy Sundays. So manifestation Mondays, just think about for a moment what you would like to create this week, how you'd like to bring your life a step further to what you actually see for your life, and stop feeling so controlled by all these planetary movements. We have still a free will to move within these energies. So just taking a moment to kind of align yourself with what your intention is, and when we reach your sign, you'll hear the messages that are being given for you for your guidance. And so once you have your thought in your head about what you'd like to manifest, another great thing to do is visualize it as if you already have it. Feel it on your skin, hear it in your ears, experience the joy that you feel when you have it, and also the gratefulness that comes after from giving, receiving this gift from the universe. So with that, let's start our community reading. And before I say that, thank you so much for everyone who purchased eclipse readings. You can still get one if you'd like, but I still do have all my other regular readings up there as well. I always recommend the As Above, So Below reading is one of my favorites, but I do have a particular reading if you're doing relationship issues called Venus Exalted, things like that. So head over to my bio over at astrolata.com and check those readings out. And if you have any questions, just please give me a little line drop on the feedback, and I will be happy to answer those questions for you. Okay, with that, here's our community reading. Okay. So first we have the Prince of Swords. This is energy of someone really going after what they want, kind of like this awakening energy, this really vivacious, like warrior type energy, almost Aries. You can think Aries when you think of the Prince of Swords. Oh, and by the way, I'm using the Goddess Tarot this week. It's a bit of a happier, brighter deck, and I thought with this change of energy that we're experiencing with the sun moving into Leo, that this would be a great deck to use. So I'll be using a different one today than I normally use, since people always ask me about my deck. So moving on, anyway, the Prince of Swords. So this energy, like I said, is kind of very like Aries energy. He, in traditional decks, he's like riding a horse and he's like hopping into battle with his horse and his sword erect. And so there's this energy of really going for it, of really having like a fighter energy and not giving up type energy. The next card we have is the Princess of Pentacles. This is a person that is on the journey of learning about their own foundations, about creating new foundations. They're still super young. And you know, in some ways they're kind of immature, but it's not that they're immature because they mean to be like disruptive. It's just that they are still learning the process. They're still falling on their faces in terms of money, in terms of structure, in terms of you know, earth sign type matters, things like that, our groundedness, our the ground on which we like stand, you know. So this person is still trying to figure it out. And then our next card here is the Two of Wands. This is about someone who's kind of planning the journey. They had some type of inspiration, and now it's kind of about stepping forward and actually creating some type of plan before there's action. There has to be some type of blueprint or game plan before moving ahead with when this card comes forward. So with these three cards showing us what our week is going to be like, I really see that there is a need to kind of slow down. And we already have that we have all these retrogrades still happening, because there is this feeling of wanting to rush forward. There's this feeling of wanting to like go full steam ahead, but we can't do that until we really learn the proper footing for this new energy. That we're kind of rebuilding things a lot after this eclipse season in Cancer, and so there's a lot of things, especially with the lunar eclipse being conjunct the South Node, or Cantu, whatever you call it. With us having to release some really deep things with the solar eclipse, there's this new sense of trying to rebuild and having to learn what the new ground feels like. It's almost like we're on different terrain than we're used to. And so with that comes the slowing down of having to kind of re-examine and realign and look again and see how, okay, within this new world, how we can now move forward. Things are constantly changing, right? And this is one of those this is one of those big moments that we've been talking about for years. We've been seeing this globally, with governments and just the way socially things have been changing as well. But now personally in our lives as well, we have to readjust and see how we can move forward. And so that takes a little bit of slowing down, of being kind to ourselves and realizing that we don't always have to have it all figured out, that this is just completely new terrain that we don't need to feel like we have to master it at this point. So take some time this week for yourself, or even today, since it is a Monday, to just realign the plan. You know, whatever the plan has been, you know, look at the steps that you can take to. You don't have to change what your plan is, but just see what road you might need to take there instead of the road that you've been taking before, because there was a roadblock or there was a change of plans or whatever it was. But that doesn't mean you have to give up on the dream that you have. Okay, so here we go for the astrological signs. I'm gonna go backwards this week, and I'm gonna start with Pisces, since Pisces people are always having to wait. So here we go for Pisces. Pisces moon, Pisces rising, and Pisces sun, or the Pisces inclined. Okay, Pisces. So for you, Pisces, you have the Ace of Staves, or the Ace of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. So this really tells me there's this new passion coming in for you, this new, like, almost, even this could be like a sacral energy or some type of creative energy being woken up in you that is going to create new abundance, almost like a new maternal energy coming through for you, or something of feeling very like, because the Queen of Pentacles, she in a lot of ways is a master at her garden, at the things that she tends to, at her finances, at fertility and abundance and things like that. So with this Ace of Wands coming through, kind of highlighting that there's this really almost like this new thing that you can give birth to. Maybe some of you will be getting pregnant, but also for some Pisceans, this might just be some new creative endeavor, or maybe just a feeling of feeling alive again, feeling newly restored in your energy center of your sacral chakra and your solar plexus, being able to kind of lift up above everything that's happened and feeling kind of newly ignited is the feeling that I'm getting. Kind of feeling like on fire again, feeling like you're back in the game. So run with that this week and allow yourself to feel it. Okay, Aquarius. It's strange to go backwards. Oop, we got something that flew out for you. Okay, Aquarius. I feel like Aquarius sometimes gets 3 cards, or there's someone who always gets 3. So the card that flew out for you is the Eight of Pentacles. This card is about chipping away. I'm actually having to put in the work to work at something, Aquarius, to not just like ignore it, but to actually like, do the steps where you have to check off the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the list before you get ahead. And especially with these other cards coming in for you, this is the Three of Staves and the Wisdom card, or the High Priestess. So feeling like you need to look back on your steps that you've taken, feeling that you need to find the deeper wisdom, and by doing so, you need to kind of do the work. As they say, you can't just skip ahead to the Four of Staves without really doing the backtracking of what you've learned, the wisdom that you kind of gained from the journey that you've been on so far. So this week, kind of slow down for yourself by looking back about what you have learned, and making sure that you're actually doing the necessary steps before you start moving forward, that you're not going to be skipping steps that are not actually going to be helpful for you. You're going to end up having to actually do them over again, and you won't learn the deeper wisdom that you've went through all this stuff for. So the Wisdom card speaks the loudest because it's the major arcana, and that really says, you need to start getting back in touch with your own intuition, that person that speaks to you inside, your higher self, your angel guides, whatever you do or believe, or however you experience intuition, that person needs to be brought back into alignment with you, so that you are learning from these steps, and when you do the work, then there's actually something that you're gaining from it. Okay, Capricorn. Oh, I'm gonna take a moment too. I see all these comments. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, hi, everybody. Yep, and I'm reading for the signs, not for randoms. I thought that was funny. Okay, Capricorn. Hi, Capricorn. All this Stav energy, maybe because we're getting back in the fiery energy. Okay, the Seven of Staves, and once again, the Three of Staves came through for you. That always happens, right? When it's 2 signs next to each other, it's like they're kind of experiencing similar little things here. So the Seven of Staves is about somebody, and I'll hold it up for you. It's about somebody who's on like higher ground, so to say, but they still feel like they're needing to defend their energy, or defend their place in life, or defend, it's kind of very defensive energy, right? There's this feeling that they're at odds with something and that you need to like hold your place with it. And so with the next card coming through is the Three of Staves. And for you, I really feel like this is something that's coming in from the past that you're still feeling a bit raw about, or feeling that you need to kind of like hold your place in the matter. And I really see this as something that you really need to look back on it and actually let it go, and not feel like you need to give it so much energy that feels like so aggressive, right? Because we had that card in the community reading telling us actually we need to slow down with all that aggressive energy. So here, kind of, you know, revisiting the things that you need to revisit in the past, and coming to peace with it, honestly, instead of feeling that you need to live here in this space of defensiveness. And that you might at first have to realize that you're kind of being that person, that you're being this like kind of a little bit reactive. And we still have Mercury, you know, backtracking in Cancer. That doesn't mean we're like in the clear just because we're in Leo season. So we do have some of that reactive energy, but going back and looking at the things, looking at the past, looking at the things that you have learned, so that you can then release it and let it go, and that you can newly commit for the next step of the Staves, which is the Four of Staves, of recommitting or committing to the journey that you're on. But first, letting that feeling of having to you know, be reactive or be defensive or whatever it is that you're feeling within that realm that she's going through right there. Oops. Okay, going backwards, Capricorn, Sagittarius. Any Sagittarians here? I see we got Gemini, Libra, Aqua Moons. All right, so Sagittarius, rising, sun, or moon. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right, so 2 4 cards for you, one that flew out and one that followed. So the Four of Pentacles, this is about Sagittarius, the protecting or the looking after, kind of in this deck, it's a little bit more nurturing of an energy of just holding space for something, of feeling like you're kind of nurturing, you're creating some type of surround against your energy here, especially in terms of your foundational things, which is kind of at the centerpiece for our week, was our new footing within this new terrain, right? So there's this feeling of having to really hold space, of being a little bit more protective, not necessarily being aggressive, but just kind of, you know, being, you know, almost like boundaries, right? Having your sense of where you end and where everyone else begins, right? And so moving on for you, the Four of Staves and the Two of Cups. So this is really about for you, for relationships, Sagittarius. So if you're feeling a little bit fluttery and newly alive with the sun, your sister sign, back in Leo, sorry, the sun in Leo, your sister sign. If you're feeling the sense of romance and you're trying to jump into something, just also be a little bit, you know, careful. Not to say that you have to be paranoid, but just also leave that room for you within this, because these are 2 cards that are about commitment, and especially in terms of the Two of Cups coming through, there's some type of like relationship, and this doesn't have to be love, this could be some partnership or something within 2 people coming up for you, that, you know, whether it's just a family relationship, a friend relationship, romantic, business, but whatever you're committing to, whatever you've been kind of like moving towards, just holding space for yourself and finding that little bit of you know, that little bit of you know, space where you can learn to walk on this new ground as well, so you're not feeling completely winded by the time we reach the end of this and you're just like, how did I get here? And it's easy for Sagittarians to kind of get carried away with the wind, so just finding a little bit of your own ground. Okay, Sagittarius, Scorpio. It's actually really refreshing to go backwards. So Scorpio, moon, rising, or sun. And honestly, I don't know if anyone else watched Lada's new horoscopes that she had up, which was so cool. It was great, just awesome that she is back, and back and giving us energy. I was like just in the nick of time, I felt. But she, and some of the videos she was mentioning about how you can like look at not only your rising, which I tend to do because that's most accurate with your chart. But for me with this eclipse season, I definitely felt it with my rising, but I really, really felt it strongly with my moon too. So maybe if you've been feeling like your rising or your sun hasn't been speaking so much to you, especially if you're a woman, look at your moon sign. So sorry, Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. Again with the Ace of Staves, it's so bizarre when cards come through multiple times in a day for different signs. Okay, so there's this new awakening in terms of your financial situation. This kind of like light has been lifted, and there's this sense of either rediscovering what it is going to take for you to feel fully aligned, but it seems like you're on the right path for you, Scorpio. So if there's some type of, even if it's not even, if you're not worried so much about your financial situation, this could be in terms of just your basic foundation in life, your stability, even with your family, things like that, your roots, things of that nature. We kind of have some type of they have some type of like hold on us from the past, or some type of cultural thing. So there's some type of new awakening coming in for you this week that you can feel, that you can trust. I really get this like happy, bright energy of like feeling like there is, these are two super positive cards. I'm feeling that you can really trust this new foundation, or trust the ideas that you have about how you can better move towards those, to move towards that, to that lifestyle. And so with the Ten of Pentacles though, this is really, really good for money situations, or even just feeling really happy at home. We usually associate like happiness with the Ten of Pentacles, but this is, so maybe happiness is the wrong word, but there's like this feeling of like just like contentedness, or just like grounded, of not feeling like you're on like unstable ground, but just kind of feeling like everything is, your ducks are in a row. But I would really run with whatever like feeling or newly aligned passion, or whatever you feel that's coming up around these like foundational earth issues. Really trusting that feeling this week, and not doubting yourself, to run with it. Okay, Scorpio, Libra. I think we had some Libra earlier. Libra rising, Libra moon, or Libra sun. So many repetitive cards this week for everybody. It's because we always are super on similar paths, but we all have different little roles to play within them, right? So 8 of Pentacles, the working things out, and the 4 of Staves. So this is really about working things out in terms of what you're committed to, having to put the work in. And a lot of times people don't realize that commitment, we're, especially as Americans, we're a society that make commitments very easily, but that we don't necessarily follow through on them very much. We're not a society that like is very known for our ability to kind of see something through. We're a little bit more about the self rather than the whole. So this is really telling you, Libra, that whatever that you are committed to right now, whatever you have like signed a contract with or something, or whatever you've made a promise to, or whatever you've just been, even like in your own life, have been trying to like work towards, like don't give up on it. There's still like work to be done. Anything, when there's a dream, or there's some type of contract. We always just think that almost like that the contract itself is the end of what that commitment really means. But it's not. That's just the beginning. That's just and the contract does none of the work for you. It's just like something on paper. But the actual work that it takes to really sift through those highs and lows of what that commitment really means is the work that we actually have to do, so that we can realize those dreams, so that we can get to the root of what we signed up for. So it doesn't come easily. This is not just like a microwave commitment and you're gonna have it in 2 minutes, whatever you've been trying to manifest, whatever you've been trying to create for your life. That there is the seeing it through process, and sometimes that seeing it through, you can be in the dark night for a really long time before you realize that you've walked through it, and now you have like your pot of gold. So working on it and not giving up this week, Libra rising, Libra sun and moon. Okay, hi Libras. All right, Libra, Virgos. Okay, Virgo. Okay, Virgo, so there is a victory coming in for you. There is some type of success. That's right off the bat, that's really good news. There's some type of feeling of triumphantness, but that's not going to come without a little bit of work on your part. And that work that is being asked of you is to stop looking at the things that you have with this sense of negativity. You need to look at what you have so that you can actually number one, use it in a way that's helpful, but number two, that there is something else coming in for you if you can learn to get your pretty much your mind out of the gutter, I guess you could say, right? Like if you're only seeing things negatively, then of course you're never gonna get this. Who has ever built anything successful by negative thinking? So for you, it is, this is kind of like a confirmation for you, Virgo, that you can be successful, but higher Virgo energy is not something that is so overly critical that they can't get themselves out of it. And that's lower negative, or that's lower Virgo energy of kind of that spiraling OCD negative behavior where you're tearing things so much apart that you kind of just create this whirlwind where you're never out of it. So seeing what you do have, seeing it with fresh eyes this week, utilizing that Sun and Leo positive energy to be a filter in which you see your situation, for what you see, what you've been given, the gifts that you have been given, and stop seeing your situation or your gifts as curses. They are gifts. You're just not perceiving them correctly because there is some type of victory here with what you actually have been given. So learn to love it and learn to nurture it instead of critiquing it the way you've been critiquing it. Virgo, Leo. It's kind of weird to go backwards, but I like it. It's refreshing, actually. And it's refreshing with all this retrograde energy, so we'll just keep going backwards. All right, Leo. This is your day, your time, your season. Ooh, a lot of cards. I don't always get cards that fly out, but a lot of flying out cards today. Okay, Leo. Here's your card that flew out. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So, starting first with the oppression card, Leos. Leo rising and Leo sun and moon. So the oppression card in the Goddess Tarot is very similar to the Tower card in most traditional decks. And the oppression really comes from not really letting things move, not letting things continue, not letting things actually have their flow of energy in which the way that they can grow and change and be stronger. And so the oppression card is really a message saying like, let it go, let whatever has been happening, stop feeling that you need to control it. It's going to fall down even harder if you don't. Just find a way to release some of your grasp on it. And it comes from, it comes from fear, it comes from grief, it comes from all the, the natural things that would happen if something falls apart. And so those are totally valid feelings, and do whatever you need to do to, scream into a pillow, cry, whatever you need to do to get through that, so that you can release those energies, because if they stay, they're just going to create stagnant waters. And so really, really allowing the oppression to release here. So that's your fly out card message, your overlying message. But for you, there's this sense of almost that you've been trapped within something, that there's this really deep sense of hurt, and I see it as something that has been stemmed from your own thought process, which is normally where hurt comes from, right? But with this eight of swords, it's really saying that you're creating this. And this is, maybe in tandem with this, by saying that you haven't been releasing. So releasing it, and taking yourself out of the oppression, taking yourself out of the situation. You have the power to walk out of the type of jail that has been created by, and it's been created by the mind. And so we're kind of rising above with this King of Cups, rising above it and getting really emotionally strong, and not letting these really deep emotions be drawn in by this thought process, because this heavy emotion card right here, in tandem with this, it has the ability to turn sour unless you can lean more into the positive attributes of the King of Cups, who is very emotionally strong. And so relying on your natural optimism, right, as a Leo, you guys tend to get out of storms very quickly, even though you feel them. They tend to be like stars and movie stars and things like that, where we all kind of follow, but you guys tend to pick yourselves up. So relying on that deep sense of optimism and that deep emotional security that you guys usually do have. Oh, am I still on? Sorry if my video has gone, okay, I think it's back. Okay, maybe it was just my own computer. Okay, Cancer. Another repeat card. Okay, Queen of Pentacles again, and the Seven of Cups. So this really tells me that you're in a place now to start making some decisions, that you guys have been through the whirlwind, you Cancers, and we've been feeling this energy in your sign really heavily. So I know you guys have been going through it, but this is now stepping in to your sense of security again. And from whence you can do that, you can start making some real decisions again for your life. And this is really about choices or dreams that you have for yourself, but doing them first on a footing that feels very stable again. And so whatever you need to do, if this doesn't feel like a place where you're at yet, getting to that place, whatever, even if you have to fake it till you make it, like putting on the red lipstick and the eyelashes and the hair, whatever makes you feel like the power player, or going to your yoga, or whatever it is for you. It's different for every woman or man too, whatever it is, and that makes you feel very grounded and secure within yourself. And then from that place, being able to again make choices, instead of doing them from a place that you're feeling shaky. So holding off that process until you can get here, and then you can make some really good decisions for yourself, and you have some great options available. It just depends on really what you want, but in order to really see what you want clearly, you have to do that from a place where you feel like that you're on ground that you can walk on easily. Cancer. Cancer, Geminis, Gemini rising, moon, and sun. Oops, oh my god, everything fell. All right, starting over Gemini. We'll go slower. Although I felt very electrocuted by Gemini energy. Okay, Geminis. So you guys have been kind of going through it too. You know, you're one of those signs that is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's constellation shifting and moving really fast, and you know, that's why you can say that you guys have so many different personalities, and it's not, you know, you're most moody, kind of like Cancer, but it's just the actual personality shift. Your planet moves so quickly, and you've been in this with Cancer in a lot of ways. So here for you is the feeling of being torn. I can see that right now with the Two of Swords, feeling like you're kind of caught between two hard decisions, you could say. And so really feeling like you need to lean on your emotions right now is going to be how you can really get through this, because if this person is blind, they can't see, they can't clearly make any concrete decisions based on what they can actually see. It's going to have to be based on their feelings and based on what they feel intrinsically in their soul, and that is reiterated here with the Queen of Cups coming through, being like, you know, she's kind of a very similar player as the High Priestess, where she is very nurturing. She's water of water type energy. She's super into to her intuition and being able to feel things very deeply. And so this is really going to be about, for you, especially with you backtracking into Cancer right now, allowing yourself, Geminis, to feel the feels and allow yourself to letting that feeling, letting that stuff, and you're such a rational sign, you're Mercury, right? Allowing that to be your experience right now, that guides you through this. That's going to be the compass that actually guides you in the right direction, and you're not going to be able to do so much of that by concrete what you can see and what looks right and what feels right on paper. It's going to have to be with what you're really, really feeling deeply inside of yourself. Okay, Taurus, rising, moon, and sun. Hello. Hi, welcome. Yeah, thank you. Up. Not ready for you guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, thanks for coming. Okay, here we go, Taurus. Okay, Taurus, so you have the Ten of Cups coming through for you, which is emotional well-being, of happiness. There's a big old rainbow. I don't know how much happier I can get than that. So there's this really deep feeling of contentedness, happiness, joy coming through for you guys. But this is in terms of the Queen of Swords. So that means that you have to get to this place by having a little bit more of a logical mind, and being in cahoots with your logical mind and your emotional mind. This is one of the only cards where she's really able. She's queen, so she represents that water energy, but she has that sword energy, which is very clear, rational ability. So in some ways, she's very, very like balanced in between those two worlds, and being able to speak her truths is a major part of the Queen of Swords. So being able to speak your truth this week, and kind of allowing that to be the place on which you are able to build your happiness from. Being able to speak what you want might be able to create some different situations for you, or people didn't know they couldn't read your mind or something like that, where you can actually get to a place of understanding that gives you a lot of joy. And maybe there's just some things that you've been not really saying before, and not allowing your voice to be heard. But once you do, this will create a lot of happiness for you this week. So feeling that you have this safe place within yourself to be able to speak your truths, that it's supported this week for you. And last but not least, guys, is Aries. We went backwards if you just joined us. So Aries rising and Aries sun and moon. Wow. All right. And so the Queen of Swords comes out again. It's so cool how many times we had very similar cards come up this week. So we're all in major cahoots with each other this week. So the Three of Pentacles, though, with the Queen of Swords. So this is really about honesty coming to play in terms of your relationship with other people. The Three of Pentacles is a card of building something, of collaboration, of learning from from people, from gurus, from teachers, from scholars. So there's going to be very like hard and cut dry information that you might be getting, and this might be, you know, if you are a student, this might actually just be from your teacher just being like, you know, you need to work on this is not good. Or this might just be coming from people around you that are trying to give you advice. There seems to be some very deep truths that are coming out from other people. Hey, maybe it's going to be from Taurus actually. But this is really about you learning and taking in those truths and taking them to heart, so that you can build a stronger foundation, which is what the Three of Pentacles is all about. It's that collaboration to build something stronger, having three minds there. Traditionally, it's seen as like the apprentice, and then like a priest, and like some like government official or whatever. They're two guys that are like guiding this other one to build this sculpture. And here it's literally a building that's being portrayed. So this is what's coming through for the building of your life. If you're not literally building anything. It's more about taking that advice that is given to you from the Queen of Swords. This person coming through, giving you some type of like really truthful and helpful information this week that's going to help you build the structure of what you actually want in your life, and not taking it to heart, where you feel like you can't accept it, but accepting the emotional truths that she's kind of giving to you. And this could be a man as well. This could be anyone that's really just having a nurturing way of saying this type of truth for you. And this might even be you deciding to take that stance and go ahead and you starting that process to get that type of information from somebody, but relying basically on information relying on other people that are more informed than you, or better at you, or more an expertise in some way than you are. And so you're a little bit more in the student role this week for you, Aries. So paying attention and being receptive, so that you can build the thing that you actually do want to build. So, okay, guys, that's it for the signs, but I'd love to hear any personal questions that you guys have for me. I can at least do like 5 of them. So, if I see, oh, okay, I already have one. All right, hi, could you please pull a card to see if there will be an improvement in my finances this week for Dogen? Okay, no problem. Okay, the Prince of Pentacles. So it is a good sign. This is a money card, right? So this is more about kind of the watchful eye over money. I wouldn't say this as so much about like, you know, finances blooming, but kind of like maintaining what you have right now and watching over it. So I don't see any type of major change within your finances, but this is a card that's calling you to be more mindful or watchful right now over your finances until you can get to the next spot. And you know, this is a major face card, so the process is soon for you. The process to get to the next level are the next steps of this. So it's on the horizon, but right now it seems that it's more about things just are maintaining and making sure that maybe you're not doing the opposite by like spending too much or not being watchful of your finances instead. Okay, I'm gonna just pick ones that I feel drawn to. Let's see. Ryu Mao, let me do yours. How can I solve my issues at work, please? Okay, this card is the Sacrifice card, so you might need to kind of hold back a little bit and give some room. There also might be this sense of having to kind of give something for this sense of peace, or if there's some type of like situation going on where you're experiencing problems with somebody else, you know, like offering, kind of like sacrificing the pride, right, to like, you know, put it out there that you would love to talk about it, things like that. But ultimately first what needs to happen is sort of some type of like step back away from it, feeling that you can get a level head or like a more broader perspective before moving on to offering that type of you know, offering that type of conversation or whatever needs to happen for you, being the one that offers it first and not like kind of waiting, but being a little bit more proactive, but not until you've kind of had the wherewithal and the space to kind of just see the situation uncluttered. So let's see. Maria Clara Serum, please can I have a guidance card? All right, no problem. Oh, awesome, I'm glad that worked for you. That's good, because when I see these cards, sometimes I'm like, I don't know the whole situation, but this is what I'm being told, so I hope it speaks, because sometimes it doesn't speak to me, but I always love it when it does speak to you. Okay, a guidance card for Maria Clara. Okay. All right, lean into your happiness this week, the things that make you just incredibly joyous. You know, anything that's of negative, lower energy or lower vibration, anything like that, that could make you feel down. Just, it's not your week to deal with that. Save that for another week. But this is really, you know, this is perfect for the sun moving into Leo this week. It's really getting into your joy, whether that's just with other people, dancing, you know, singing, you know, drawing, or whatever. It like kind of creates some type of like, you know, aliveness and rainbow in your life. So not letting yourself be down in the dumps though. Not this week. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad that the reading spoke to you. Your favorite, your fave, I can't see what it says, but thank you, I got the message. I'm glad that the reading worked for you. Okay, Andrea Lastic. Sorry guys, I'm bad with names, so I really do apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly. But let's see. Hi, will the situation with the Scorpio improve? All right. Okay, so with the Scorpio, you're gonna have to work maybe with a third party with the Scorpio that you're having some issues with. There might be another person that can kind of like play referee or something, or someone who can give you guys some better advice, and so that you're not necessarily relying on each other's uh, guidance, you can say, but you're kind of more relying on a third party to kind of help you build back the situation with him. So this is not really a yes or no, will it improve, but this is what you need to do if you do want to see improvement. Okay, let's see, I'll do a couple more. Sophia M, can I have a guidance card, please? Yes, you may. Okay, Sophia M, so you really need to get clear this right now about what you want to actually commit to. And when I say that, I mean like what you're going to actually follow through on, what you're going to see to the very end, and not being like wishy-washy on that, being like, for now, this is about the next step forward, and taking that next step forward is about, you know, being honest with yourself about what all of that entails, so that you can feel that when you do make that commitment to this next step, that you know what you're getting into, you know what it's going to look like, you have all the details behind you, and so that you know that you're making a very strong decision. But with this coming up, it is time to make that decision. It's time to, like, you know, go big or go home, basically. All right, let's do Mish Bush. Will I be able to create the move I've been desiring? Okay, so it seems like some things need to play out first before that move is going to be a realistic thing for you. There needs to be some balances created. A lot of times this card is about karma, the Justice card. It's about kind of, it's almost not in our hands sometimes. It's the things that have happened beforehand that we are now kind of being served our karma, you could say, on. It's kind of having, you know, it's the call and then the response is after it, right? So this is kind of saying that right now there needs to be some things that are leveled out before that trip is going to be something that you can move forward with. But other than that, I don't see any reason why that would not happen for you. It just, what's happening in the present right now is something that still needs to be worked out, still needs to be balanced out, still needs to, you know, debts, you could say, that still need to be paid. All right, guys, I'm gonna do one more. Oh, glad, Sophia, thank you for telling me that. I'm glad it resonated with you. All right, L. Loren. Hi, I'm so excited. Would it be possible to ask about what's coming in my love life? For sure. Okay, So this is the wisdom card. So this really tells me right now that it's going to be something that you really are going to be gaining a lot of wisdom from. That this is going to be learning for you right now. In terms of your love life, this is more about gaining the type of experiences that give you the type of wisdom, for lack of a better word, to move on, to move forward with. So right now, it's more about trusting yourself, the process of learning to trust yourself. If you're dating right now, or if you've just met someone, learning to like have those moments where you're not so like, when you're like so swept away by somebody that you're not actually listening to yourself anymore. That doesn't mean that you have to take everything as like a major red flag, or that, that the red flags aren't meant for you to learn something about even. But it's just right now learning to have that security in which you can still hear yourself within the love life situation, where you can still trust and know yourself, for whatever comes down the road, that you still have that anchor to who you are, your higher self. Okay guys, thank you again so much. If you want to expand on any of these questions, please don't hesitate to ask me about a private reading. I will put the link below in the comment section for anything, for any of my readings down there. And thank you again so much for tuning in this week. I super appreciate it, and enjoy the new energy in the sun and Leo, but don't rush too far ahead. We still have new footing to get used to. So I'll see you guys next week, guys. Have a great week. Bye.